नमो अरिहन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो उभज्जायाणं नमो लोये सव्वसा मङ्गलं भगवान् वीरो मङ्गलं गौतमो गणी मङ्गलं कुन्दकुन्दार्यो जैनधर्मोऽस्तु मङ्गलम् सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वकल्याणकारकं प्रधानं सर्वधर्माणां जैनं जयतु शास्त्रम् तीन भुवन में सार वीतराग विज्ञानुता शिव स्वरूप शिव का नमः त्रियोग संहारी जय Jnana. Yesterday we were started the fifth Dhala that discusses the 12 contemplations, the Bara Bhavana. And as we discussed, they are the Vairagya ki Janani, or they foster detachment, they foster renunciation and stabilize one in the contemplation of the soul. The Bar Bhavana are Sukh Roop Chintan because they are a part of Samvar. So Vyavhar Samvar's description has Bar Bhavana as one of the components. So all these are Samvar Roops. So they generate happiness. And we already did Anitya, Asharan, Sansar Bhavana and Ekatva Bhavana. Today we will start with the Anyatva Bhavana. So Ekatva said that me, the soul, is alone. Okay, I am alone in my karma bondage, in my bhav, in my journey across the universe. Exactly opposite is that nobody can come with me. Okay, I am not connected to any external alien substances. I mean, everybody is following the same path. So, in a way, both are two sides of the same coin, Ekatva Bhavana and Anyatva Bhavana. So, in this, Daulat Ramji, what he saying? Jal pay. Jal is water, pay is milk. Okay. So in a way, water and milk are always mixed together, but from their different characteristics, we know that water and milk don't just mix and become one. They appear to be one, but water is retaining its own separate characteristics, and milk is retaining its own separate characteristics. And that is why, in making something like paneer, we can separate the two things. So water and milk, they stay together, but they are separate. In a same way, jo jiya tan mela. Jiya means jeev, tan is body. In the same way, this body and the soul are occupying the same space points, are staying together in the Akash Dravya. This is Ek Kshetra of Gaha Sambandh. So they are staying in the same place. However, their individual characteristics always remain distinct and separate. Pudgal, the body being Pudgal, has the characteristics of Sparsh, Ras, Gandha, Varna. Soul being Jeev has the characteristics of Gyan, Darshan, Sukh, Virya. So these two can never become one. It can never happen that the soul body will start knowing or the soul will have attributes of color and all those things. They will always remain separate. So Jal pe jo jiyatan mela pe bhinna bhinna nahi bhela. They two are always separate and they can never mix up. And I am just talking about body and the soul occupying the same space. But in reality, in the same space, there is Dharmastikaya, Adharmastikaya, there are Kalanu, there is Akash Dravya. All the six Dravya are existing together in the same space point. But they are still distinct. They never intermingle into each other, they never mix up. Okay. So this realization that I am completely distinct and separate, abhi sharir se hi distinct hai. If I am distinct from the body itself, then all the external things are quite far. They are visibly distinct. So pragat jude dhan dhama. I can see in front of my own eyes that my house, my money, my wealth, car, clothes, everything is actually physically distinct also. क्यों है एक मिली सूत्रामा? How can my wife and my son. Sutrama is my wife and my son. How can they become one? How can we all become one? हम साथ साथ है ऐसा concept is not there in Jainism. Everybody is distinct. Everybody is separate. कोई किसी का नहीं है. Nobody can give support to anyone. Nobody can endure the pain for anyone. Nobody can do anything for anyone. We all are on our solitary journeys. It's a separate journey, and it's such a beautiful journey because somebody else's karma do not impact me. You know, Ravan himself went to Narak, but his children went to Moksha. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि माँ बाप के कर्म बच्चों को लगते हैं. So it doesn't happen like that. Everyone has their own distinct identity. Rishabdev Bhagwan being a Tirthankar, his grandson Marichi is, doing all the ulta kaam in the Mavir in the birth of Marichi. So why is this happening? Because every single soul has its own different distinct identity, their own bhav, their own karma, and nothing can be one. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता साथ जिएंगे साथ मरेंगे साथ मोक्ष जाएंगे. We can't do this. This is strictly against the law of the universe. So people, there is one very famous example we give that those who imagine that, I want my family to be with me forever, तो सब लोग साथ में निगोद जाओगे. Because that is the only place in one body infinite souls can live together. Otherwise, there is no other vyavastha, there is no other situation where there can be any form of support or any form of, dependence on each other. Everybody is distinct and separate. Yeah, Darshit ji, please.
Okay, Jai Jinendra.
Yeah, Jay.
The milk and water are mixed together, but in reality, they both have their own identity with specific attributes, and as a result, are separate. In the same way, the body and the soul appears to be one and the same, but they are both absolutely separate from their own differing attributes. Even though they occupy the same space units, since time infinite, they are both separate from substance, area, modes, and attributes. Travya, Kshetra, Kal, and Bhav. In the same way, the visibly separate entities like the house, wealth, spouse, children, garden, car, etc., are also separate from the nature of the soul. The body is matter particles and the soul is a living substance. Since time infinite, they both occupy the same space point and therefore create the illusion that they both are one and the same. This is especially true from the empirical viewpoint, but from the absolute point of view, they both are separate from their own peculiar attributes. One should be aware of this fact and keep the relationship with body as a lotus is with water. One must keep the attitude of indifference, the relationship with alien substances, and thereby increase one's own dispassionate state with the contemplation of separateness, Anyatva Bhavana.
So, if you all know the story of Shiv Bhuti Muniraj, he was a Jain Muni who could not even remember the Namokar mantra. His Kshayopsham was very less. He could not remember anything. So, his guru had given him some small this thing, Matush Marush, which means Rag mat karo, Dvesh mat karo. But he forgot that. And when he was, going for ahar, he saw a woman separating the skin of the dal from the lentil. We separate the moong dal dhokar. We separate the skin. So she was doing that. Somebody asked her, "What are you doing?" She said, "Tush mash bhin kar rahi hu." So he started, rutting like tush mash bhin, and contemplated on this anyatva bhavana. Tush is my body, mash is my soul. These two are separate. And this kind of contemplation, he manifested Keval Gyan. So from this Albak Shayoksham, where he could not remember even Namokar Mantra, he manifested Keval Gyan only with the contemplation that I am distinct and separate from the body. Now, after Anyatva Bhavana, we will see Asuchi Bhavana. So, the first six bhavanas you will learn in your paper 3 Bara Bhavana, they are Vairagya Parak. They foster detachment. Okay. So, they increase sequentially the level of detachment of the soul towards the external things. Whatever desires we have, material desires, sensory pleasures, attachment to the body, sequentially we are reducing all those kind of attachments. 6-1 Asuchi Bhavana contemplates on the fact that this body with towards whom we are so attached is in fact made of all the disgusting elements. Like if we remove this outer layer of the skin, nobody would even like to see what it is inside. There is blood and pus and bones and everything. And wherever you see only disgusting elements flow out, whether from the nose, the ears, or the private organs, only the disgusting things flow out. So whatever you put in, like you eat the most expensive sweet, you just touch your tongue, that same sweet nobody else would like to consume. तो ऐसा ही बोलते हैं कि शरीर ऐसी फैक्ट्री है जिसमें जो भी डाला एनीथिंग यू पुट इट गिव्स आउट द डिस्गस्टिंग थिंग इन रिटर्न. You put the best food but only the worst will come out. So that is why we must not be very attached to the body. This body is not our identity, it is not our nature, it is asuchi or impure, and your soul is forever pure. It has infinite attributes of bliss. It is pure. It is, completely full of knowledge, full of perception, full of other infinite attributes. And we are not looking at it, and we are just having a lot of attachment towards this mortal body, which is not your true personality. Okay. So, Pal, Rudhir, Radhi, Mal, Thaili. So, you can see the meanings flesh, blood, pus, excreta. Okay, it is the container of all these disgusting things. Kikas vasadi te meli. Kikas is bones, vasadi is fat, and it is filthy. It is not pure because of all these things that are inside. Navadvar bahe ghinakari. From all the dvar means the openings, from all the 9 openings of the body, only disgusting juices flow out. Now, I don't need to explain this. We all know, kaan se, naak se, aankh se, muh se, from everywhere, only all these disgusting things flow out. So he's telling us, Asadeha kare kim yari. Why are you still attached to this body? What is there for attachment to the body? So the Jnani Jeev or the enlightened souls, they keep on contemplating on this fact that this body is not worth being attracted to, worth being attached to. And again, I'm repeating, this is not to invoke dvesh towards the body. This is giving samyak gyan about the body, that I feel that I am beautiful because of the body. I have all sorts of, feelings of maintaining my body, beautification of the body, doing shringar and everything, which is nothing but increasing the attachment. So when we realize the true nature of this body, that how every moment it is just aging and decomposing, so my effort towards maintaining it are actually waste. If I spend the same amount of time towards my soul, I am going to get infinite and eternal bliss. So this is the Samyak Gyan, which is going to give you bliss, give you true joy. Priyanka ji.
This body is made up of flesh, blood, pus, and excretory products. It is dirty due to its bones and fatty materials. There are 9 openings through which waste comes out. How can one have an attachment with such a body? In this stanza, the author's intention is to describe the impure nature of the body and to show the purity of the self. With discriminative knowledge, he wants one to have liking for the pure nature of the self rather than dislike of the body. The body is made up of matter particles and is impure by its own nature. Under the cover of the skin, the body is full of filth. On the other hand, the soul is made up of consciousness and is inherently pure. Therefore, the enlightened soul concentrates on the contemplation of impurity, ashuchi bhavna, and increases the purity in his modes.
So in Asuchi Bhavana, there is one story of Sanat Kumar Chakravarti who had leprosy for 700 years. And there is also a story of Vadiraj Muniraj who had leprosy, and he had the riddhi or that labdhi that his own thuk or his own spit could cure that thing. But they have so much detachment for the body, and he did not even have the bhav to use that riddhi for himself. Okay, so this kind of the Utkrishta Vairagya Muniraj have. They have the supreme level of detachment towards the body. They don't consider it as their own. They think this body is of the neighbors. So when something happens to the neighbor's house, like if there is some big problem in your neighbor's house, so you will just go for a courtesy call formality, but internally you are very much unaffected. Like, if somebody dies in your neighbor's house, you might go for a courtesy call, but you're not affected. In that way, the enlightened souls, the Jnani Jeev, if something happens to the body, they remain their Gyada Drashti. They are not truly affected. The arising of these attachment towards the body is something that bothers them much more than any disease or, like rog se dar nahi lagta, rag se lagta hai. So rog or the disease is not a problem, but that rag, that attachment which arises is a big problem for them, and they try to remove that rag towards it. Okay. So now from the seventh bhavana to the last one, it is tattva parak. So first six were vairagya parak, or that which increases the detachment. And these are tattva parak, means you are thinking about the fundamental elements, the tattvas. Okay, so the first in that is ashrav bhavana. So ashrav itself is hey, but ashrav bhavana is a part of someone. Here you are thinking about the ashrav, contemplation regarding ashrav element, and this is a part of Vyavhar Samvara. Okay. So what is ashrav bhavana? So as we discussed, the nature of ashrav, it has five things: mithyatva, avirati, pramad, kashai, and yog. These are the five, you can say, dosh or flaws of the soul, because of which continuously dravya karma keep on getting attracted towards the soul. So like you can see in the picture. So, jo yogan ki chapalai. So this chanchalta, or this vibratory activity of the yoga, or the mind, speech, and body. So the mind, speech, and body are attached to the vibratory activity of the soul. So whenever there is a disturbance in the purity of the soul, or that still nature of the soul, there are vibrations, and these vibrations are expressed through the mind, body, and speech. So mind, body, and speech activities, they cause ashrav. Tate hai ashrav bhai. So due to this mind, body, and speech activities, you are attracting karma. If the activity, as I had explained, yoga can be shubh and ashubh. If your mind, body, speech are involved in auspicious acts, shubh ashra will come. If they are engaged in inauspicious acts, ashubh ashra will come. Okay. So, jo yogan ki chaplai, this chanchalta or this vibration in the mind, body, and speech, they are causing ashra, results in the influx of karma. The karma particles which are fully around you, they get attracted to the soul space. Okay. What is the nature of ashrav? Ashrav dukhkar ghanere. शुभ आश्रव भी दुखकार है, अशुभ आश्रव भी दुखकार है. Both the types of influx is actually leading to the transmigration and fostering the miserable miseries of the soul. So all the ashrav are dukkar. Buddhivant tinhe nirvere. So the enlightened souls, the buddhivant is what? The wise persons, the enlightened ones, those who have had this discriminatory knowledge of the soul, who have done the Ved Vigyan, they continuously see these ashrav, this Shubh and Ashubh Bhav, as distinct from their pure soul. The soul is a tranquil, pure, knowledgeable entity, and ashrav is asuchi, impure, it is transient, it is opposite from the nature of the soul. They understand this distinction, and they are, renouncing the ownership or the kartutva buddhi of the ashram. They don't have any ruchi or any interest in having any kinds of ashram. They keep them off. Are you all getting it? If there is any question, please tell me. Aditi ji.
The vibratory activity of the space points of the soul is known as yoga and is the reason for the soul's auspicious and inauspicious manifestation and is known as the subjective inflow, bhav ashrav. It occurs independently. As a result of subjective inflow, the material karma gets attracted to the soul, Dravya Ashrav, by their own nature. This inflow is the reason for the suffering of the soul. The wise person stays away from these activities. Donation, compassion, devotion, worshipping, austerities, etc., auspicious intentions are the impure nature of the soul and are known as auspicious manifestation of the soul, bhava, punya. At the same time, new karma, known as auspicious material karma, dravya punya karma, gets attracted to the soul. Violence, truthfulness, violence, untruthfulness, stealing, etc. are the inauspicious manifestations of the soul, bhav pap. And at the same time, these new karma get attracted to the soul, are known as the inauspicious material karma, dravya pap karma. As such, the auspicious and inauspicious manifestation is not the inherent nature of the soul. It is the transient, impure state of the soul. The material karma are the alien things. They cannot do anything favorable or unfavorable to the soul. The enlightened soul knows these facts very well, and as a result, he makes his personal efforts to stay away from the inflow status and increases his dispassionate state. This is the nature of the inflow contemplation, ashrav bhavna.
So is this clear? Like I think I have explained this earlier. The impure manifestation in the soul, this shubh ashubh bhav that arise, as a result of them, the dravya karma are attracted in the soul. Okay, so this can be both good and bad, but equally they are resulting in the transmigration of the soul. So till the time we have this, false belief that punya is beneficial and punya leads to moksha, punya is dharma, all these kinds of belief will not allow you to actually consider it hey in your knowledge. You will not be able to renounce it and go towards your pure soul. You will be satisfied with the auspicious sentiments, because in a way you are attracted to the fruits of those auspicious sentiments. Ha, devgati milegi, I'll become king, chakravarti, all those things. So if that is the line of thinking, then again you are going to be stuck in the transmigratory cycle. So the true realization of ashrav is that ashrav dukkhar ghanere. All kinds of ashrav are actually miserable, causing misery to the soul, and I must have this, hey buddhi towards them. I have to engage in them, but with a hey buddhi. So, for example, like we eat medicines. So we don't eat medicines with enjoyment or taste. Wow, I'm eating protein today. That is not there. We are eating the medicine because we are sick. In the same way, we are engaging in these auspicious acts because we are sick, we are not able to practice vitrakta. So, as a weakness, we have to take the sahara or the support of punya, but it is not something which you should think that this is worth doing. Like you never feel that taking few medicines every day is something great, right? You're taking it with a hey buddhi. In the same way, your attitude towards punya should be there. Now, after ashrav, the next is samvar bhavna. Samvar bhavna itself is samvar root. So, how do you manifest samvar? Samvar, I had explained earlier, is the pure shuddhopyog dasha, or the state where the soul is completely immersed in self-experience. At that time, the activities of man, vachan, kai, they completely stop. So there is no vibration in the soul. As a result, the karma influx is stopped. So this is the nature of samvar. Okay, so how do you get that samvar? Jin punya paap nahi kina. The soul who does not show inclination or interest towards this punya and paap, or shubha and ashubh bhav, or virtues and sins, atam anubhav chit dina. So he renounces his interest towards all the punya paap and takes interest in Atam Anubhav. So, in the nature of the soul, the one who stays engrossed and shifts his focus from the punya and paap. Currently, our consciousness is completely engrossed in punya paap. At every moment, either we are doing shubh bhav or ashubh bhav all the time. Okay, so when we stop doing that and take a genuine interest in knowing the soul and get completely engrossed in it, that is the time what happens? Tinhi vidhi avat roke. That person stops the inflow of karma. Samvargahi sukh avloke. Avlokan is what? Experience, realization. One observes sukh, the real happiness, which happens due to samvar, is observed when one does atam anubhav chit dina. One focuses on the nature of the soul, remains engrossed in it, stops the influx of karma, and experiences the true bliss for the first time. Okay. So here we see samvar is like a shield. It stops all the karmas from entering the soul space. Shashikala ji.
Those who remain engrossed in the nature of the self and refrain from the auspicious and inauspicious manifestations of the soul are able to curb the inflow of karma. Such a person can accomplish the stoppage of karma and ultimately can obtain everlasting bliss. To stop the inflow of karma is known as stoppage. With the right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, one stops the inflow of wrong belief, wrong knowledge, and wrong conduct producing karma. Even though the enlightened soul knows the auspicious and inauspicious manifestations of the soul, or manifestation of the soul or the reason for the bondage, he still has some amount of these manifestations still remain due to his instability, astirsta, astirsta.
Asthirta. So he is unable to maintain that.
Yes. To stay within the pure nature of the soul. His purity improves proportionately to efforts he puts towards achieving the purity of the soul. The enlightened soul increases purity by self-introvertedness. Swa Sanmukta. This is known as the stoppage contemplation, Samvar Bhavana.
So initially, one is able to maintain that state of, Shuddhopayoga or Swasanmukta or Atmanubhuti, whatever you call it, for just a few moments. Then he tastes that bliss and feels a lot of joy. So he wants to go there again and again and again. So as one practices more and more, the time duration and the frequency where he can attain this blissful state increases, and that is how your gunastan increases and nirjara increases, right? So from fourth to fifth gunastan, once in 6 months, if you get atmanubhav, you are in fourth gunastan. But when the frequency increases to fortnightly at least, then you are in the fifth gunastan. And Muniraj, they have this atmasthita every antar murat. So they keep on oscillating between sixth to seventh stage all the time. Like within, you can say one antar murat, thousands of times they have, gone into the soul, come out, gone in, come out. So this keeps on happening. And the when one is able to stay within the experience of the soul for antar murat or 48 minutes, that is the time all the karma bondages are gone and you get keval gyan and become arihant. So you all must have realized that marg is only one. Shuddhopayog, Atmanubhav, self-introvertedness, self-experience, engrossment in the self, whatever we call it, that is moksha marg. That leads to the stoppage and dissociation of karma. That is the thing that is leading to liberation. Usko naam do, you call it Ratnatraya, you call it Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitra, you call it Atma Sanmukta, whatever you want to call it. This is the only one way in which you can become happy, you can go to moksha, and you can get liberated. Okay. The next is Nirjara Bhav. निज काल पाय विधि झरना तासो निज काज न सन. So every moment, even deluded souls or mithya drashti jeev are also shedding some karma. Okay, so whatever karma are bearing the fruit, they are getting shed every moment. But there is no use of that nirjara, because in the same time, due to the bhav karma, we are binding new karma. So juna ja raha hai, naya aa raha hai. Like I don't remember, I gave the example that somebody has taken loan from a bank. Now, to pay the loan, he is taking a loan from his friend. So, eventually, He has not, shed off any of the debt. Okay, so his debt is the same. In the same way, whatever karma is going, again, we are binding it. So that is not of any use in the path of liberation. It is not solving our purpose. Then what will solve our purpose? जो तप करी कर्म खिपावे सोई शिव सुख दर्शावे. So by the means of austerities and penance, when one is engrossed in the self experience. So I told you the true definition of tap is ichha nirodho tap. So by not curbing, but due to the absence of desires, one has no inclination of having any external substances. One does not allow his consciousness to get entangled in the external items. So all his desires, they have completely gone, and that absence of desires is nischay tap. And accordingly, you have this vyavhar tap of anshan, amodarya, raspari, tyag, etc., etc. And dhyan is the biggest tap in all the 12 taps. Okay, so with this kind of tap, one destroys karma. Okay, अपना जो regular है, in that there is no dissociation of karma as such happening, which will be helpful in liberation. But with the right type of austerity or the absence of desires, with self-engrossment, increasing self-engrossment, Muniraj sheds like, there is Guna Shreni Nirjara or exponential dissociation of karma happening to Muniraj just by staying in self-engrossment. So the karma of koda kodi sal, and it's like infinite amount of karma gets shared in one antar muhurat if one stays focused on the soul. This is the power of self-realization. As opposed to this, if you are just doing dravya tap, like munivrat dhar anant bar griva kujayo, koti janma tap tape jnana bin karma jhareli. So for crores of years, you keep on doing upvas, fasting, and all the other kind of tap, but you will not be able to do any nirjara. And in this stuff, where there is absence of desires, within Antar Murat, you can destroy all karma and go to liberation. So this is the right kind of stuff or the method of doing Nirjara. And thinking about this, like thinking about what is the true nature of Nirjara. One, that is known as Nirjara Bhavana. Like this is Nirjara Bhavana. What I explained was Nirjara Tattva, and and again thinking about it, contemplating on it, realizing that these desires are not worth getting involved into, and seeing oneself as separate from the desires, as a wholesome entity who does not need any external elements for fulfillment. One contemplates on Nirjara Bhavana and tries to stay away from unnecessary karma. Yeah, Jinali ji.
The aim of life cannot be achieved by shedding karma upon their fruition. One who destroys karma by performing austerity is able to achieve bliss. The shedding of karma occurs at the time of fruition. When the time is ripe for those bonded karma that are staying with the soul in dormant conditions. This occurs all the time to every mundane soul, including ignorant souls. However, this is not the reason of purity in the ignorant souls. In fact, shedding of karma occurring in the enlightened soul with the right faith, knowledge, conduct, and with austerity is known as the premature disintegration of karma, avipaka nirjara or sakam nirjara. When there is progressive increase in the purity of the soul, proportionate amount of karma disintegrate, ultimately leading to complete shedding of karma and the soul achieving ultimate liberation. The enlightened soul knows the fact, and with the self-introvertedness, he increases his purity. This is known as the shedding contemplation, Nirjara Bhavana.
So here we saw Avipak Nirjara. So there are two types of Dravya Nirjara or material Nirjara. One is Savipak Nirjara, which is happening all the time to all the Jeev, Agyani and Gyani. And the other is Savipak. Savipak Nirjara means the Nirjara which happens after giving the fruit. And Avipak Nirjara means the one which happens without giving the fruit. That happens to the enlightened souls or the Gyani Jeev due to tap. Now, Akam Nirjara and Sakam Nirjara are the parts of Bhav Nirjara. So, Agyani Jeev does Akam Nirjara. Like we saw in the first Dhal, there was this word, Kabhi Akam Nirjara Kare, Bhavanat Trik Mein Surtan Dhare. So, because of this Akam Nirjara or bearing some fruition of karma without getting involved in it, that is Akam Nirjara. And Sakam Nirjara is of the Jnani. Due to self-realization, due to being engrossed in the soul, they do Sakam Nirjara, which is also Kam Ki Nirjara, like that is fruitful Nirjara, because of which these karma disintegrate without giving their fruit. Are we all clear? So I cannot see any of your faces, but I'm assuming that you are all able to understand. Yeah? We are clear? Yes? Oh.
Last bit, could you repeat that again, Viralji? The last two sentences you said.
Avipak and Savipak you are saying? So Nirjara, okay, Nirjara, there are two parts. There is Dravya Nirjara and Bhav Nirjara, which is physical or material Nirjara, that is related to the manifestation of the karma part. Bhav Nirjara is related to the soul's manifestation. Okay, itna pata hai Dravya and Bhav. Dravya Nirjara is again of two types, Savipak and Avipak. Savipak means the dissociation of karma which happens after giving their fruit, which is happening to souls all the time, to ignorant souls and to every soul. Avipak Nirjara means without giving the fruit. This Nirjara happens only to the Jnani Ji. Okay. And then the Bhav Nirjara, iske two parts, which is what Akam Nirjara and Sakam Nirjara. Akam Nirjara happens to Jnani, Ajnani both. So due to Akam Nirjara, so there is some, like difficulty in your life and you have not gotten involved with that, Shant Bhav Purvak Sahan Kar Liya. Like you were somehow showing moderate disposition. Like something really bad happened, but you did not react in that adverse way. That is known as Akam Nirjara. Okay, like there was a famine and everybody else was really miserable, but you kind of, सहन कर लिया. I don't know a better word in English. कि उस भूख को सहन कर लिया. Now you are not Jnani, but still you did that. So that is Akam Nirjara. But Sakam Nirjara happens to Jnani on because of self-realization or engrossment in the soul. That is Sakam Nirjara. Now is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
So
one second. This regarding this give for without giving fruit, it will not happen. Maybe the intensity will be reduced, or before the time that the karma's period due for manifestation, it will come early and get rid of it. But the karma benefits will be there. Maybe due to power of that self-realization, the intensity may be reduced, and this transmigration that reduced from...
No, without giving fruit also it goes away. So there are some karma types which will, disintegrate. So in karma also there are like 10 avastha, depending upon the karma. But a lot of karma can also, you can get rid of without giving the fruit as well. Like whatever karma we are binding, we don't have to bear the fruit of it. Do you know that? It's not like we have to bear the fruit of all that karma. There is two types like Nidhati and Nikachit karma. They cannot be, meddled with. But a lot of other karma types you can disintegrate without bearing the fruit also. Depends on, how you have bound that karma.
Yes. And usually the time period will be earlier than that.
So if the karma was for say some sattar koda kodi, so that will be reduced. So that is called as apkarshan utkarshan. But here I'm not talking about that. This is premature disintegration. Like before that time is coming, they are just shedding without even giving that. Okay.
All karmas. There will be a bearing fruit will be there. As you said, maybe some karmas that sthiti,
some karma give
fruit without giving fruit.
Some karmas will disintegrate only after giving fruit. So if that nikachit or nitati karma are being bound, तो वो fruit के बिना नहीं निर्जरा होगा. So they will give the fruit. But some other karmas can also dissociate without giving any fruit. Okay. So now the next is lok bhavna. Any question? Yeah, Priyanka ji.
Virulji, when you said in Jnani Jeeves, without the fruition of the karma, disintegration happens, nirjara happens. So when you say Jnani Jeev, that means someone who has attained Keval Gyan.
Samyak Gyan. Keval Gyan mein to Ghati karma is already gone. Whatever is remaining, they don't, Ghati karma are not harming the soul. So Jnani Jeev means Samyak Jnani, 4th to 12th Gunasthan. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Keval Jnani has already got Keval Gyan because their Ghati karma is gone. Right? So now Aghati karma fruit is not of any importance at all. That is not harming the soul in any ways.
And does it keep happening, like, on a continuous basis, say, like someone who has attained fourth Gunasthan, and the nirjara of this kind of karma without bearing the fruit, does it like happen on a, on
Yeah.
a
So
regular basis?
some karma prakritis, they stop getting bound itself, and the purity of the soul, uske saath, matlab it is known as, see, there is atmanubhuti, but even when you are not in the state of self experience, anantanubandhi kashay ke abhav mein, there is a purity which is attained in the soul, and on the basis of that purity, some amount of karma nirjara always keeps on happening. Okay, but when they are engrossed in the soul, the nirjara happens more. And that level increases as the soul ascends on the ladder of Gunasthan. So fifth Gunasthan Varti has more nirjara all the time happening. Sixth Gunasthan Varti has even more. So that goes on increasing. But some amount of karma nirjara keeps on happening.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's like having a drashta bhav. You can have more nirjara.
For first to have nirjara, pehle to atmanubhuti is a must. So you get that, then naturally the karmas start dissociating on their own. You don't have to do anything. The soul just does purusharth in self-realization or atmanubhav, and this karma nirjara keeps on happening. It keeps on increasing. Okay. Lok bhavna. So lok means in this bhavna we are contemplating regarding the nature of this universe of the lok. And when we understand the true nature of the universe, about the substances in it, automatically we have this vairagya. Okay. So kinhu na karo na dharo ko shat dravya mai na hare ko. Now there is a very common misbelief that somebody, Brahma, created the universe, the Vishnu is maintaining it, and the Mahadev will one day destroy the universe. So this creator destroyer idea is very common in many religions who believe that God is the creator, God is the doer of things, God is determining our destiny. So the real nature of the lok is this universe is self created and it is eternally existent. Nobody creates it, nobody can destroy it. Okay. All the substances in the universe are also self created and eternal. None of the substances in this universe will ever get destroyed. You cannot even destroy one Pudgal Parmanu because every substance has its own existence, has its own attribute, has its, you cannot do anything in any substance. In that way, I am the soul. All my attributes are intact since eternity and will be intact till eternity. Everything that I need to exist for eternity is already within me in the form of my infinite attributes. I don't need any external substance, any external support for my own survival. So, this is the Samyak Gyan or the Vastu Vyavastha regarding the nature of the universe. Okay. So, without understanding this, what happens is that we harbor a lot of delusions. We feel somebody has created, somebody will destroy. God is, Karta Dharta, and we pray Tarje, Dubarje, you are, I'm dependent on you, itni shakti hame dena. All those things, we feel that God will help us, God will do things for us, we do bhakti for that. We expect things from other people. And in this entire chakkar, we have a lot of rag dvesh, attachments and aversions. There is no samta bhav. And because of this attachments and aversions, we are binding karma continuously and we are transmigrating in the four gatis. So, kin hu na kare na dhare ko, no one has created, no one is maintaining it, and shat dravya mai. So, this lok consists of six dravyas or the six substances. Jeev, Pudgal, Dharma, Dharma, Akash, and Kal. So this is 6 steps, and na hareko, nobody is going to destroy it. So lok mahi vin samta. In this self-created, eternally existent universe, without understanding this nature of substances, without understanding the independent functioning of dravya, guna, and paryay, one dravya cannot do anything for the other dravya. One gun cannot perform the function of another gun. One paryay cannot do anything of the other paryay. We have learned char abhav, right? So each paryay is independent. The previous paryay is not the doer of the next paryay. This paryay is not doer of the future paryay. So all the paryay are independent. All the gun are independent. All dravya are independent. Every paryay has its own shatkarak. It is capable of manifesting at its own time, on its own. It doesn't even need the support of the dravya. So this kind of ultimate independence, akartavad, this entire philosophy which I'm talking about is akartavad. Jain philosophy is akartavad. We don't believe in kartutva of any one entity into another entity. सब कुछ independent है. Everybody is functioning independently. And so what do? बस ज्ञाता दृष्टा. You are a knower and an observer. You cannot do anything for anyone, to anyone. You are observer of your own manifestations also. So this is the nature of this universe. Without understanding this, so lok mahi bin samta. Without this kind of right knowledge or samyak gyan, the jeev thinks I can do something for someone, somebody can do something for me. We are doer, and I'm enduring the pleasure and pain from external substances. Some things are good, some things are bad. All these kind of mithya bhav goes on. Bin samta, without equanimity. Dukha sahe. Now, what happens because of this? It endures misery, it endures pain. Dukha sahe jiva nit bhramta. It suffers continuously in the cycle of birth and death in the four gatis that we saw in the first dhala. And the only way we can get out of that suffering is by samyak gyan, right? By understanding the true nature of this universe. Everybody's read? Darshit ji.
Okay. The universe was neither created nor maintained by anyone. It is made up of 6 universal substances, and no entity can ever destroy it. Without equanimity, the living being suffers a great deal due to the transmigration in the universe. Brahma is not the creator, Vishnu is not the maintainer, and Mahesh is not the destroyer of the universe. The universe is composed of 6 substances. The universe and its 6 substances are in existence forever. All these 6 substances, with their own capacity, remain constant from the substantiality point of view, Dravya Arthik Naya, and keep on changing constantly in the form of origination and cessation from the modal point of view, Paryaya Arthika point of view. One substance has no control over any other substance. The true nature of one soul, which is consciousness, is absolutely separate forever from other souls and the remaining 5 universal substances. The religious person has that strong belief and as a result does not believe in doing, enjoying, or owning alien substances. By believing in this manner, he keeps increasing his purity by reducing mundane expectations and delusions. This is known as a contemplation regarding the nature of the universe, Lok Bhavana.
So here, one thing we saw Dravyayarthik Nai and Paryayarthik Nai. So I'll just explain you in brief. We will learn these Agam Ke Nai in, I think, the 7th semester, if I'm not wrong. Now, every substance, when we say is eternal, we should understand that these eternal substances are not static. They keep on changing every moment. Okay, so these changes are known as paryay or modifications. So when we observe a substance from the point of view of modifications, which is known as paryayarthik nahi, it is continuously changing. Like the gold is either in the form of the ore, the bangle, the bracelet, the earrings, the necklace. So the earrings, necklace, pendant, all these are different things. This is changing. So this is the point of view of modifications. But if I am seeing from the dravyayarthik nai or the point of view of substance, the gold qualities in the bangle, in the bracelet, in the pendant is exactly the same. If I am going to give all these mixture of things to the jeweler and ask for a rate, he's going to apply a standard rate of gold. He's not going to give me more money. Oh, this bangle has a good design, I'm going to give you more money, right? It is going to be valued on the gold it has. So that is dravya arthik nahi. So from the point of view of the substance, the thing is remaining constant, same. It will never change. Like I, the soul, from the point of view of substance, I am composed of consciousness, whether I am in the form of an animal, plant, devgati, naragati, anywhere. The soul performs its same function of consciousness. However, if you see from the Paryay point of view, humans are different than animals, they are different than plants, they are different than the Dev or the Nargis. So this is the Dravya Apeksha and Paryay Apeksha. These are two different points of views of looking at the same substance. Is it clear? Are you guys getting it? What we are saying here? Yeah. So
Yes.
this is the nature of the universe. स्थिर रहकर बदलना और बदलते हुए स्थिर रहना. Okay, something which remains the same yet changes, something that changes constantly yet remains the same. Another example you can see is of Google Doodle. Every day on the Google web page you see different doodles. Okay, none of the doodles are same to each other. Every day they are same, but essentially it is all Google. So from substance point of view, Google ही है, but every day the design is different, so the doodle is different. So it is constant and changing. It is changing, yet it is exactly the same thing. Okay, so this is the nature of dravya and paryay, and this is the nature of even your soul. Is the soul constant or is the soul changing? Depends on the point of view from which you look at. Paryayarthik drashti say the soul never stays constant, but from the dravyapeksha it is always constant. And knowing both is anekant drashti. I know both the aspects. It's praman drashti. Okay, it's a comprehensive knowledge of the substance. We will learn more about this, but I hope the basics, I think you have got. Yeah, Priyanka ji.
Viral ji, so okay, we understand like in Jainism, there's no, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv. But, the question still arises like how things came into existence, like what was the origin?
There
It
is
does
no origin. Anadi Kal say the universe has been existing just like it is. Now, what happens is that in our regions, due to the six aras, you might have heard the six kals, there is a change. Like there is Bhog Bhumi for the three kals, and there is Karma Bhumi for the three kals. So these conditions keep on changing in Bharat and Airavat Kshetra. But the Swarg, Nark, and the other regions, they are always the same. Nobody has created them. They all came into existence. And you just imagine who can create this? What raw materials will they use? From where will they get it? So everything has to exist. Like, ye kya bolte hai isko? It is ahetuk. There is no reason for that. This is the way universe is. And we know it because somebody has known it in their Keval Gyan. The Sarvagya Bhagwan, without any Ragdvesh, has seen this in Keval Gyan and has given that message that nobody has created, nobody is going to destroy this. Okay, so this is what, and it is logically also, quite logical that how will somebody create this? Just tell me, what raw materials will they use? If God is creating the universe, why is he creating bad people? Why is he creating inequality? Why is he creating poverty and stress? ऐसे ही मजा करने के लिए, दुख देने के लिए. So none of it makes sense. You are getting it? Are you convinced or no?
no.
Convinced.
No, convinced, like I think I'm convinced over there, like छह द्रव्य का raw material क्या होगा? जो raw
Yeah.
material, dravyas in itself is a raw material, like the example that
So
you
from
gave of
where do
gold.
you get it? From where do you get it? Exactly. This has to be self-created.
Like somebody, especially like when you have people from other faiths, and when you have a discussion, like the discussion arises like, for example, like in Hinduism, someone would say like, we know, like ours is like a very prachin religion because we can establish somebody created this, somebody is keeping it in proper shape, and then someone is going to destroy it. So there is like a proper method to everything, but like Jainism
Oh, is it? Is it?
can't
So, you read
actually.
Atma Siddhi also, like Ishwar Karta Kahe, but why will he do it? Why will he create good and bad? Just
No,
think
no,
about
God,
it.
ma'am, God has created means who has created that God?
Who created God? Yes, a good
Who
question.
created that God? Who was Vishnu? Who has created Vishnu? Who has created Brahma? Because he is God. God means God should be created, no? Otherwise, how?
Universe exists on its own is, I think, the most logical thing, because itna bada universe, how can anyone create it? There is no way you can do it.
Also, ma'am, we should have Shraddha in Bhagwan's ka Vani mein. Something you cannot probe it. It is like this, especially
Yeah.
this cosmology, Indian, I mean, Jain cosmology. You should have 100% Shraddha and faith in Tirthankar's Vani. Divya Dhwani means you should have faith. No,
Yes.
there
Now
should
I
not
will
be
tell
any
you. Yeah.
आकुलता नहीं होना चाहिए.
Yes. And how will you get that Shraddha? See, one very good logic is given that in Prayojan Bhut Tattva, all the facts stated by Bhagwan are quite accurate, and through, contemplation and logic, you can prove. Like Tark say, you can get answers that yes, soul is separate from the body. Yes, these Rag Dvesh are causing Akulta. So all these things you can experience. So in Prayojan Bhut thing, if you think is right, so this Lok Swarup is aprayojan bhut. It is not directly purposeful for your knowledge. In that, why will God say anything false? If He has said truth in the prayojan bhut things, you can assume that in aprayojan bhut things also, whatever His Vani has said is the truth itself. Otherwise, why would He say that there is a Sumeru Parvat and there is Jambu Dweep and there is a Sankhya Dweep Samudra? Why would somebody make up such a story? There is no reason to it, no. Because Prayojan may, if he has given the right knowledge, Aprayojan may also, because Keval Gyan has that power that it knows everything. He has the inclination only to know his soul. But Gyan has Swapar Prakashak Shakti, so it knows the whole universe, and he has described this universe as he has seen in his own Keval Gyan. And our benefit lies that we trust it completely. In our limited knowledge and perception, it's not possible that we know everything. But we can gain the benefit of somebody else's knowledge, right? For like in this class example only, you don't know everything, but right now you are placing a sort of trust on me, an Alpa Gyani Jeev. In that way, place your trust on the Keval Gyani Jeev, that whatever information they have given in the Shastra is accurate, and you try to think about it logically. Uske alawa kya ho sakta hai? Is there any other possibility? Then you ask questions कि नहीं ऐसा हो सकता है, and then you get them proved wrong by somebody who is knowledgeable, then you will be convinced that no, this is the way things are. Because understanding the Lok Swarup, Vastu Vyavastha, all of these things are very, very important to have actual Shraddha in Dev Shastra Guru. And without that Shraddha in Dev Shastra Guru, you cannot possibly, even progress towards knowing your true self. So all of these things, to have a firm decision in your belief, it's very, very important. It's known as Tattva Nirnay. If Tattva Nirnay is not there, then Atmanubhav is a far-fetched dream. So good. Think about it. Again, you find proofs of, why these things are.
Doubt- It's not a doubt in my mind. Like, it's something, not a question of, like, not believing what the Shastras say. But then
Yeah.
when somebody else questions you, and then you are like, okay, and I'm pretty sure, like, I don't have much knowledge about gender. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, so
up
the
and
thing
see.
is, what is, you are not convinced about this. That is why you feel that, oh, that may also be true. Because yahan par Shraddhan is not very firm. So good, you ask this question and again you think about these things. And then you will be confident enough to, answer and prove why things exist like this. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next is Bodhi Durlabh Bhavana. Bodhi means Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, Samyak Charitra. The unity of Ratnatrayi is Bodhi. Attainment of right belief and right knowledge is what Durlabh. Durlabh means very, very, very rare. It's quite rare. So I contemplate on the fact that how rare is the attainment of this Ratnatrayi in my life. And that is how you cherish it. You devote your life to it. Okay. So what do the knowledgeable souls think of is Antim Grivyak Law Ki Had. I have gone till the end of the ninth Grivyak, which are the higher heavens. And as I told you, those who go in the Grivyaks are Muni in their previous state. So one who has attained Muni Diksha without right knowledge has gone to this Grivyak. Payo Anantaviri Apat. So going in that higher heavens, I have done Anantvar, infinite times after becoming Muni, after following the 28 Mulgun and doing everything, doing tap for hundreds and millions of years, I have attained this higher heavens. Anantvar, okay? But pai samyak jnana na lado. But without this right knowledge, without the right belief, without Ratnatrayi, I have still been wandering in this universe. Okay, I went to the higher heavens millions of times, but I have in that gatha it was sukhaleshana payo. I was always unhappy. In this, he's saying, but without samyak gyan, I have still been wandering. I'm still here. I'm still wandering. So that is why I understand that this samyak gyan is Durlabh. Durlabh Nijme Muni Sadhu. The Muniraj understands that for infinite births, he has wandered aimlessly. Even after doing highest level of auspicious dispositions, he has attained Devpat. But without the Samyak Gyan, he has not have been happy. So now, after attaining this Samyak Gyan, he is cherishing it. That this Samyak Gyan is very rare, very Durlabh, and I am going to, stick with it. Yes, Darshit ji.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a bit confused about this Grivaka, because if somebody has attained Muni Dasha, wouldn't it be like more or less guaranteed not to go to heaven, but to end up as a Vitragta after
Okay.
jumping through the Gunastans?
Yeah. So all those who become Muni will not get moksha because there are two types of Muni, Bhavalingi and Dravyalingi. Bhavalingi Muni are those who have destroyed the three quadruplets of passions, Anantanubandhi, Apratyakhyanavaran and Pratyakhyanavaran Kashai are absent. Those monks are Bhavalingi Muni. Okay, so they are on the path of liberation. The other Dravya Lingi, they have not destroyed these passions. They have just attained mild passions and taken Diksha. So they are not probably even Samyak Drashti and Samyak Gyan. So these Munis, on account of their auspicious dispositions, will go to Swarg, will go to the higher heavens. Now, in the Munis who are actually Bhavlingi, who have destroyed the three passions, but are not able to complete their sadhana, like they are not able to complete the full passionlessness, they will again go to Swarg and come back. Like you must have heard the story of Pandav Munis, the five Pandavas. Out of that, the first three,
Yeah.
when the Upsarg was happening, they were within themselves and they attained moksha. But the last two, Nakul and Sadev, they were also Bhavalingi Muniraj. But one auspicious thought, and they are in Sarvat Siddhi right now for a lifespan of 33 Sagar
Okay.
years. Okay, so if your sadhana is incomplete, then you will go to heaven and then again you will have to take birth and maybe in one or two births you'll get moksha. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Shashikala ji.
Ma'am, one more thing. This one. Bodhi is our nature, consciousness. It's Bodhi is nature of the soul, Gyan and Darshan. So it's not realizing it is that the Durlabh. You are not realizing because of this
Yeah.
nature of the soul is it is Bodhi is it's there, but due to this external all this Rag, Desh, Mokh, or we are not realizing it. That it has become Durlabh to realize that one.
Right. Yeah. So you can say like Samyak Darshan Jyan Charitra, they are also the manifestations of the soul itself. So you can say that it is the pure nature of the soul and you are not realizing it. It is rare to realize. So that is also Bodhi Durlabh. Or Bodhi is the Ratnatraya. Or
Yeah,
yeah.
it's nature of the
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody else also raised hand. Priyanka ji? Okay.
Oh, no, no. I thought like my hand was raised, so I was trying to lower it down. No, it was back.
Okay. Okay. Read Jinali ji.
बंद कर बंद करा. The living being with wrong faith has been able to obtain the high position of the nine-necked dwelling abode of the angels many times in the past due to his milder passions. However, he has never obtained the right knowledge. This right knowledge is unprecedented and can only be obtained by self-introvertedness, swa sanmukta, and with the infinite self-efforts. Right knowledge and right faith cannot be obtained by auspicious manifestations or by auspicious karma. The mundane living being has obtained favorable surroundings, all four realms of existence, and association of alien substances infinite times in the past, but has never realized the true nature of the self at any times in the past. Therefore, it is imperative that he obtains this extraordinary nature of self realization. The value of understanding the true nature of the self cannot be compared with any substance of the universe. Enlightenment, bodhi, means the unity of absolute right faith, knowledge, and conduct. The wise person must put all his efforts in obtaining this enlightenment. The person with the right faith concentrates on this contemplation, and as a result, he increases his enlightenment. This is the nature of contemplation regarding the rarity of religious knowledge. Bodhi Durlabh Bhavna.
Okay, so this Ratnatraya or enlightenment or right knowledge, right faith, right conduct is the most rare thing, and one must spend whatever energy and whatever means he has to realize this and to attain this enlightenment in this human birth, which itself is so rare. Okay. Now, the last bhavna is the dharma bhavna. What is dharma? So, there is one famous quotation of Gurudev which says, Vastu ka swabhav dharma hai. Dharma koi vado nathi, sampradaya nathi, vastu na swabhavnu naam dharma che. Which means dharma is not some sect or caste or religion. It is the actual nature of the substance. So, for the soul, its dharma is Gyan Darshan. To know and to perceive is the soul's dharma. This is real dharma, to remain engrossed in itself. And this dharma is Sukh Swarup. Okay. So earlier we said Bodhi Durlabh Bhavana is to contemplate on the rarity of enlightenment or rarity of attainment of Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitra. This dharma also stands for Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitra because that is the true moksha marg. But in this we contemplate on its glory and we understand its swarup. What is true dharma is what we will contemplate in the dharma bhavana. तो जे भाव मोह ते न्यारे धृग ज्ञान व्रतादिक सारे ते धर्म जबे जिय धारे तब ही सुख अचल निहारे. So the bhav which are devoid of moh. So moh is a very, all encompassing word. All rag, dvesh, kashay, etc. All these vibhav, shubh, ashubh, punya, pap, all those bhav, they are encompassed in the term moh. So whatever bhav which are devoid of any of this moh, which are those bhav to drag, samyak darshan, samyak gyan, the samyak vrat or samyak charitra, all those auspicious bhav, okay, they are the true swarup of dharma. And all of these are pure manifestation of the soul's attributes. Okay. So when the soul is engrossed in itself, all the gun, they are manifesting in the right form. Okay. So te dharma jabe jiya dhare. So this manifestation which arises by engrossing in your own true nature is true dharma, and that dharma when the jeev dhare, when the soul attains or when the soul follows that kind of dharma, that religion, tab hi sukh achal nihare. So following the external dharma or vyavhar dharma is the marg of punya. It is not going to lead to any bliss, but when the soul realizes itself and manifests Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitra, manifests the purities of its attributes, manifests the true Das Lakshan Dharma, Uttam Kshama Marda Vajo Satya Saut Sanyam Tap Tyak Arkinchanya, the Ratnatraya. So all these are the pure manifestations of the soul. When the soul follows it, when the soul is absorbed in it, that is the time it is manifesting Achal Sukh, the happiness which stays eternally, which is constant, which is permanent, which does not deviate. Once attained, it will last forever. So this kind of sukh will arise only when the jeev follows its own dharma, which is to be engrossed in its own pure self experience. Aditi ji.
The religion consists of right faith, right knowledge, right conduct, vows, austerities, etc. These are the spiritual manifestations without delusions. With this religion, the living being is able to perceive permanent bliss. The unity of absolute right faith, knowledge, and conduct is the real nature of the religion. The conventional right faith, knowledge, and conduct are in fact not true religion. When the soul, with his personal efforts, obtains the absolute nature of the triple gem of right faith, knowledge, and conduct, he is able to perceive the everlasting bliss of liberation. The enlightened soul concentrates on this contemplation and increases his self introvertedness. This is the nature of contemplation of nature of the religious path, Dharma Bhavana.
So these were the Bara Bhavana. Now this is the last stanza of fifth Dhala, which says that so dharma muninne kari dharye. This kind of 12 contemplations, this dharma, which we just described in Dharma Bhavana, which is the unity of right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. So this dharma muninne kari dharye. This dharma is followed by the Bhavalingi ascetics, those who are engrossed in their self-experience. Tinaki kartuti uchariye. So now we are going to narrate or describe their conduct, their attributes, their mark from the vyavhar or the conventional point of view, like the 28 mool gun, and their internal dharma or how they are achieving the purity within themselves. So these both aspects will be described in the next dhal. We are just, telling what is coming next. It is like a prelude. So तिनकी करतुति उचरिए ताको सुनी के भवि प्राणी अपनी अनुभूति पिछानी. Now you listen to this pure conduct of the Muniraj, of the ascetics, and then you also focus on your own self-realization, because that is the path which you also will have to follow in order to attain permanent bliss. So now take inspiration from the life of the Muniraj and how they are steadfast in their own self-experience, and we are going to describe their conduct in the next Dhala. Shashikala ji.
The unity of absolute right faith, knowledge, and conduct is seen in the true ascetic. It will be described in the next section of the scripture. The author requests the living being capable of liberation to carefully listen to the stories of conduct of such ascetics and then put into action in one's life in order to experience the nature of true self.
Okay, so this was till fifth Dhala. Next class, next two classes, Tuesday and Wednesday, I will try and complete this entire sixth Dhala. Can we all meet like 5-10 minutes early? Is it possible, so that I don't have to take one whole class extra? If possible, we can start the class sharp at 8:40 and end at 10. Is it possible for you guys?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Yes, I am also okay.
Yeah, so we'll start at 8:40 and we'll finish at 10. So in two classes, we will be able to complete this Chhah Dhala. And if anybody has any questions for what we covered today, please go ahead. Yeah, we are good? Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है, इसके लिए जनवाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है. जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लो कालो, सो वाणी मस्तक नमो सदा देत हूँ ढो. बोलो जनवाणी मात की जय हो. 9 बार नमोकार मंत्र गिनेंगे. जय जिनेन्द्र.